If you're thinking about getting the new Apple Watch 8 or the Apple Watch Series 7, wait a minute and watch this, since there might be a better option for you for less money, almost the same features, and you will stay in the Apple ecosystem. The watch that I'm talking about is the Apple Watch SE2, and today we will compare this one to the Apple Watch Series 8 and find out if it's even that much better. First of all, the base Apple Watch 8, meaning the 41mm Bluetooth version, will come in at a hefty price of already 500 euros over here in Germany. If you get the bigger 45mm and LTE version, this price go up to 660 euros, which I would never spend on a smartwatch. The Apple Watch SE2 has a much lower base price of just 300 euros with the 41mm Bluetooth version, and if you're looking for the bigger 44mm LTE version, it will still only cost you 400 euros. Now the question is, what can the Apple Watch 8, what the Apple Watch SE2 cannot? The probably biggest downside of the Apple Watch SE2 is that it has no always on display mode, which is definitely a cool feature to have since you can always check your time right quick and it just looks better most of the time. Well, there's one downside to the AOD mode, and that is that it costs a lot of your battery life. The base rule is that without it, you will have double the battery life, which comes in clutch on a smartwatch that barely lasts a day on normal usage. And that leads me right over to the next point, and that is the battery life. You can say both watches last about the same amount of time, but the Apple Watch Series 8 charges a little bit faster than the SE2. From 0 to 80% it takes 45 minutes and 0 to 100 75 minutes, whereas the SE2 takes 1.5 and 2.5 hours to 100%. So basically, the Apple Watch 8 charges twice as fast as the SE2, which is a big plus point. And guys, believe me or not, but there's just one more thing to mention about the differences, and those are the health features. The Apple Watch SE2 only has a heart rate tracker and a sleep tracker, which is indeed not a lot compared to a lot of other smartwatches, whereas the Apple Watch 8 has it all. This one has the heart rate tracker, sleep tracker, and in addition, you have an ECG function, SpO2 tracker, a temperature sensing, plus the heart rate sensors are the newest 3rd generation sensors. So guys, these 3 points are the biggest and almost only differences that you will find in those 2 smartwatches. If you don't need the extra health features and the fast charging, you can really go with the Apple Watch SE2. And here's why. The SE2 has a retina display with an aluminum casing with a plastic/sapphire crystal back. Instead of the plastic sapphire back, the Apple Watch 8 has a ceramic and sapphire. But if you're looking at the features, both watches are almost identical. Like on every smartwatch, you can receive all of your notifications right on the watch. Plus, if you go over to the Apple Watch app on your iPhone, you can toggle specific apps on or off. Also, when you receive messages, you can respond to them with either your very own text, you have quick reply options, you can send emojis, or you can just make use of the speak to dictate feature and let the watch do the writing for you. Also, since you have a built-in mic and a speaker, you can start and receive calls right on the watch and talk to your buddies in a decent sound quality. You can either look for the numbers in your contacts book, or you can just punch in a number in the dial pad and start a call like that. You can of course also just use the Siri voice assistant like on the Apple Watch 8 with all of the same functions and set timers, ask for the weather, or start workouts. Also, when it comes down to the storage capacity, both watches are identical. Both have 32 gigs of internal storage and 1 gig of RAM, which means you get to download the same amount of apps from the Apple Store, and you can download just as many music tracks, playlists, and podcasts to the watch from either Spotify, which I use the most of the time, or from the Apple Music Store. And afterwards, you can listen to those tracks offline, and you don't even need your smartphone with you all the time. Alright, when it comes to the activity tracking and the built-in GPS, I really couldn't see any differences. Both watches have the same workout options, and the built-in GPS on both watches are equally good. Both work great whether you are in the woods, in an open field, or in the city. Now, just a quick wrap up. I tested both watches in my daily routine and I didn't notice any differences. Everything I did on the day with the Apple Watch SE2, I also did with the Apple Watch 8, and I didn't feel like I was missing out on anything. If I got a text, I could quickly respond from the watch, decline calls on the watch since I'd rather talk on my smartphone, did my strength workouts in the gym with a good heart rate tracking, and during the night it was tracking my sleep. I didn't feel the difference in the charging speed since I always charge it while I'm working on the computer, but you know, one thing I did feel, And that is the extra 200 euros in my pockets for lunch and other expenses that I have. Now guys, that's all it for today. If you liked the video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for more daily tech reviews. And with that being said, I will see you in the next one. Peace.